Chapter 1. Gavin. February. "Go out," my sister says. "Have fun." She literally pushes me toward the door to our new apartment. What's the point of free babysitting if you don't take advantage? Can I at least put on my coat first? I suppose. She grabs it out of the narrow coat closet and thrusts it at me with one tattooed arm. "There, now go. See a movie or find a bar, meet a guy, have some adult fun before you forget how." An argument forms on the tip of my tongue, but then my 7-year-old daughter, Jordan, pipes up from the sofa. "Ooh, Aunt Reggie, love is an open door." "Awesome," my sister agrees. "Let's hit it." The two of them are in the midst of a Frozen sing-along. I enjoy a good Disney movie as much as the next guy, but Frozen has been on heavy rotation in my home for a few years now. Adult fun is a barely recognizable concept at this point. And half the reason I moved Jordan to Brooklyn was so she could have more of a relationship with my punk rock sister. So I do it. I put on my coat, give them a wave, and leave. Outside, it's a crisp February night, although Brooklyn is nowhere near as cold as New Hampshire, where Jordan and I lived until a few days ago. Another perk of Brooklyn, I don't need a car here. My new neighborhood is within easy walking distance to everything we need. At least that's what the real estate broker promised when she showed me the rental last month. I made the decision to move here in a single day, after accepting a new job working for the Brooklyn Bruisers hockey team. In the past, I'd done many impulsive things. I used to be a fun, easygoing guy who lived for excitement. But that was the younger me. I used to have a lot less to lose and fewer people depending on me. Now, as I walk past the historic brownstones, I'm a little terrified at what I've done. New job, new neighborhood, new school for Jordan. It's a lot, and I think I'm already lost, literally. I don't want to look like a tourist, though, so I don't pull out my phone and check the map. I just keep going, turning corners and walking down every interesting block I encounter. After a while, the quirky residential buildings give way to shops. I could do some grocery shopping, even though that isn't what Reggie meant by adult fun. When I turn onto Atlantic, the street becomes more lively. There are people out and about. It's 8:30 on a Tuesday night, and the restaurants are doing good business. Even if I've forgotten how to party, the rest of the people in my new neighborhood haven't. Reggie says I'm the oldest 25-year-old she knows. And maybe she's right. When my phone vibrates a moment later, I pull it out immediately just in case my sister has an emergency at home. "Stop looking at your phone," Reggie has texted. "Go out and have at least half as much fun as we are right now." There's a photo of her dressed up as Elsa, with my daughter Jordan as Kristoff because she is 7 years old and determined not to do a single thing the same way that other 7-year-old girls do. It's adorable. And the sight of Reggie and Jordan together makes my heart happy. We're going to be fine. Moving here wasn't a huge mistake, and we're going to love New York. I take another deep breath and then respond to the text. "Cute. But why are you texting me if you don't want me to look at my phone?" "I was just testing you," she says. "Now go find a hunky guy and don't come home until the wee hours of the morning." Right, like that's going to happen. I shove the phone in my pocket and continue on my way. There was a time in my life when I was exactly the kind of guy who looked at a night out as an adventure. But now I'm the kind of guy who is thrilled to simply wander alone for an hour while my sister babysits. Atlantic Avenue has a bunch of restaurants, but I can't seem to make myself go in and ask for a table for one. I wander a little further and end up on Hicks, which is a quieter street. I stop in front of a sports bar that's not too busy. I could sit at the bar and order some wings. As I open the door, I notice there's a hockey game playing on a TV over the bar, and it feels like a sign. In 2 days, I'm starting my new job with the Brooklyn NHL franchise. I've never worked with hockey players before, and I'm kind of nervous about it. I'll take all the positive signs I can get. There are plenty of empty seats at the bar, probably because it's only Tuesday, so I sit down and order a beer from a kind-looking older gentleman. "Should be a good game tonight," he says. "We're favored to beat Boston." "Awesome," I say as I wait for my beer. I'm not a Brooklyn fan yet, though. I haven't started the job. Also, it feels disloyal to Eddie. My husband, he died 2 years ago. Was a Boston fan, big time. Growing up, I watched a lot of sports, but hockey wasn't really on my radar. Then I met Eddie, and watching hockey together was part of our courting ritual. We had 3 great years together, and then he died in an accident at the age of 32. People always tell me, you don't look old enough to have a 7-year-old daughter, and they're mostly right. Eddie was 9 years older than I was, and he was already a dad when I met him. I never imagined dating a single father of a toddler. It wasn't on my bucket list. But Eddie was special, and I fell hard. We watched a lot of TV together at home because he had a kid to raise. And then we had a kid to raise. And now I have a kid to raise. I miss him so much. It's one reason why I applied for a job with the hockey team. Eddie would get a kick out of this, I remember thinking. It was really just a whim. When they offered me the job, I was floored. Now here I am, on a bar stool, hoping I made the right call. Meanwhile, my beer lands in front of me in a frosty pint glass, and I take a grateful sip. When I glance around the bar, I notice a lot of hockey paraphernalia. There's a signed Brooklyn Bruisers jersey framed at one end of the bar, and a signed Brooklyn Bombshells jersey at the other. Eddie would get a kick out of that, too. But he'd still root for Boston. On the screen, Brooklyn has the puck, but not a lot is happening. Nothing good, anyway. Boston is all over them. This is an away game, and the Boston fans are loud. Not to contradict the bartender, but I'm not sure Brooklyn feels like winning tonight. I guess time will tell. Just as I'm having this thought, a guy sits down on the stool beside me. Like, right beside me. Even though there's a whole row of stools available. It's been a million years since I was a single guy sitting alone in a bar, but somehow the old reflexes kick in, and I turn my head to check him out. And, hello, he is a fine specimen. Broad shoulders, sandy brown hair and deep brown eyes, and a handsome face with the kind of strong, scruffy jaw that might leave beard burns on my thighs. Whoa, that fantasy escalated quickly. That's what happens when your dry spell is 2 years long. Just as I remember to keep my tongue in my mouth, the hunk slowly cruises me, too. My pulse quickens, and our gazes lock. Hi, I say, because I'm brilliant like that. He blinks. I swear his eyes dilate, too. But that's when the bartender arrives in front of us, and the guy shuts it down so fast that I might already have whiplash. Hey, Pete, he says, his attention fully on the bartender. Evening, Pete returns with a chuckle. Here to watch the game? Of course. Can I have a lager and my usual? Anytime, kid. Then he turns to me. Any interest in a menu? Heck yes, I say. Let's have it. The older man slides it onto the bar and I skim the offerings. My new friend stays quiet until the bartender moves away. Sorry to crowd you, but you have one of the best seats in the room. I almost make a joke about how nice my seat is. Almost, but I rein it in. You're not crowding me, I say instead, my voice carefully neutral. Any advice on this menu? Looks pretty standard. Sorry, no. That perfect scruffy face says. I always order the same thing, but the guys tell me the burger and the nachos are about as adventurous as you're supposed to get. Good tip. I flag down the bartender again and order the nachos. Living large tonight. Chips for dinner. It's a start.